Alright, so I finally did it. Ketroc is in Masters. Oh, hang on. 1 second. Everyone forget what you just saw. And 1v1. Alright, start again. Ketroc's in Masters League. Woo! Oh.
Alright, so it's not real Masters League, it's not 1v1, but it is team. And considering a week ago, Evil Killer and I were in Gold League because we were actually screwing around so much, which I may make videos of, I don't know. You can pick two random things, and we've tried putting them together. You go mass SCVs, I'll go Mothership Rush. Oh, we tried it, and you better believe so. So anyways, that put us down in gold, but then in screwing around a lot, we kind of got onto Cannon Rush. And from Cannon Rush, we developed this brand new strategy, obviously cheese, and yeah, it got us to #1 Masters. And like any great invention, it came out of pure boredom. I got bored of the double Cannon Rush, so I'm like, I'll go Zerg, you do your Cannon Rush, and it kind of worked into something really cool. Yeah, I can actually show you our results because I know exactly when we started in our match history. 2v2. That's right when we started our win streak. Right here. That was the first game we tried it. We won like 10 in a row. Then we lost a few. Then we had kind of a rough day where, well, we won some here. Then we had a rough day where it was up and down. We kind of broke even. And then we started winning a bunch again with it and got into Masters. And yeah, finished like even with Master League opponents against us all the time. We finished right #1 Masters. So interesting build, probably something you guys haven't seen before, but it really meshes together well, and we'll do a few games on it right now, so we'll jump right into that. Alright, so I am the purple Zerg spawning in the top left, and also spawning on the left is my partner Evil Killer, the teal Protoss. So we are spawning the left-hand side of the map. Our opponents on the right-hand side today are the Nice, the blue Zerg, and okay, a very politely named Sacknut, the red Terran opponent. So I think for this first game, I'm not going to talk about builds at all. I'm just going to go over the general concept of this strategy. In that, we're going to open with setting out one of your first probes, and we're going to open with Cannon Rush. However, it's not a typical Cannon Rush. This isn't a Cannon Rush that's meant to push in on an opponent's base. It's actually a Cannon Rush meant to contain. And for that reason, one of the main things you want to do if you want to use this strategy is thumbs down any of the maps where the ramps aren't close together. Either pick the maps where they have a shared ramp, or where their two ramps are very close to each other, and there's lots of maps to choose from in that regard. I think Monolith Ridge is the worst one we ended up with, and even that one's the ramps are pretty close together. Building the pylon inside, it's trying to stay away from the scout pattern that these units typically come down the ramp and out. As it turns out, I think he was one hex too close. Yeah, well, the SCV is spawning it now, but when the SCV goes away, you can see... Well, whatever. He was one hex too close. The SCV could just barely see it from here. So he is spotted. Not the end of the world, but it's definitely better not to get spotted. So here comes the cannons, and they're pulling some drones and SCVs. I'm going to start chipping away at those. Just doing a little harass with this probe at the same time, trying to get as many cannons up as possible. And if you've seen my old Warcraft 3 videos, you know that Evil Killer is pretty good at cancelling towers right before they finish, so that skill definitely transfers over to this game as well. Now they've pulled a lot. 4 drones and 4 SCVs. So yes, this may end up stopping the Cannon Rush, but they're also hampering their economy, so I may be able to take advantage of that myself. So we're going to leave this for a moment, and we'll show what I'm doing here. So I'm going to be doing my mass speedling build. I have edited a little bit where I actually go pool, then gas, then hatchery, but it's very economical. I think I get my pool on 16, 15 or 16, somewhere in there. So I'm getting tons and tons of drones, as many as possible, and you're going to want to stop your drone count at 16. Now given you're building 3 structures, you actually get 19 drones, but yeah, you want to end up at 16 of 18 and use that last, then get an overlord and then use that. Well, I wasn't going to talk about builds, but this is going to be a mass speedling build. That's all you need to know. So it looks like the cannons did get up. And this is another key ingredient to this build, is sending my overlords immediately to, like, send your first overlord immediately to the front and all the rest of them as well, as he'll probably need them. Well, he'll need at least 2. And what's the purpose of the overlord? Well, check this out. Now we got high ground sight. So these wall-offs are not going to be very good. The cannons can, the overseer can see the high ground, the cannons can finish them off. So I think now you can figure out the power of this build, right? The cannons contain and distract while I do this like economic build towards tons of speedlings. And then when my speedlings are ready, well, there's not going to be a wall off to stop my speedlings from actually getting in. The wall offs are going to be countered, or going to be torn apart by the cannons and the overlords. So now he's having to retreat this barracks, and he's going to set up a bunker, and he's going to have to retreat another barracks, and this is going to be rough shape for him. My Zergling count is just starting to get up now. Now I got my 2 queens out. Now I got my 2 hatcheries, and then I'm going to be quickly spending through this money. There we go. Got under 200, at least for the moment. With 2 hatcheries and 2 queens, you can produce more larvae than you can actually spend if with 16 probes or with 16 drones. Obviously, you're going to want speed as well. That's a key ingredient. That's what I'm just waited for. I feel like I said that words a few times. Key ingredient. Protoss trying, or sorry, Zerg trying to do a run by here. I try to intercept him with my my own speedlings, but it looks like it's going to be a chase. Moving after him. My partner does have nothing for defense. I quickly take a handful of my own speedlings, block the entrance to my partner's base. Don't want to allow them up here. And looks like Blue's going to head in my base now. Wasn't able to block my own ramp, but that's okay. I do have 2 queens I can fight with, which works out quite well. I got really bad positioning here, clustering a lot of my speedlings in the back, but at the same time, I don't think I lost anything. He almost killed a queen, and that's about all he did. So, easily thwarted that attack. And looks like Terran is moving back even further, creating sort of a wall like this. That's decent, although there's a gap. Uh-oh. Marines stopping the advance of the cannons. But like I said, the cannons are just to really seal. They've already done their job, so that's not a big deal. And these Marines are slower than speedlings. Sorry, buddy. Run by, get this round, then attack move. And I'm just going to pause it here. This is Master Leagues, and even at 2v2, I always say 2v2 players are terrible. Like, team game players are pretty bad, at least compared to 1v1, but this is some smart stuff here. I hadn't actually seen this before, but this is really neat, where Marines are a higher threat priority than SCVs. So all your Zerglings will typically go for the Marines. However, if you attack with your SCVs, SCVs become the same threat priority. So your Zerglings will attack whatever's closest, either an SCV or a Marine. So what he does is he attacks with his Marines, and he does not attack with his SCVs. He just uses the SCVs to get in the way. That way my Zerglings will naturally try to get at the Marines, but they can't. They'll just dance around the back. Notice how he's not attacking. He's just like forming a wall with the SCVs. So I'm having to manually pull Zerglings further, deeper and through, but a lot of them are just dancing around, doing nothing, doing nothing. And it's only once I kill all the Marines that my Zerglings will finally start going after the SCVs. There goes the last Marine. Now I'm going to start killing all the SCVs. And he's smart enough even to mineral walk, try to get himself out. But yeah, I got speedlings. You're only getting so far with that trick. Speedlings are slightly faster than SCVs. Sorry, buddy. Running by again, getting this round. Mineral walking again, but yeah, that's that. Everything is dead. Now, looks like Zerg does have Bailings, though. That won't work well versus Photon Cannons. That'd be really a waste of Bailings, but at the same time, it will keep him alive from my speedlings. Speed up a touch. When he does float off like he's going to here, it's a good idea to put a Zergling at the bases he could float to on hold position, just to prevent him from landing there. Scout Zergling does pop a Bailing, and the niece is like, well, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Oh. Fool me twice, shame on Blizzard, we'll say? Yeah. It's Blizzard's fault. Fool me 3 times. Blizzard's imbalanced. Oh no, wait. Or sorry, Zerg's unbalanced. I screwed up that joke, so never mind. Wait. Where are Rewind. No. Fool me 3 times. Zerg is imbalanced. Oh no, wait. I'm Zerg too. Haha. I'm totally not going to edit that either, so... Joke fail. But he finally figured out after losing, what, 3-4 Bailings there to keep Bailings on move commander away. So now I'm going to start sending in Zerglings in small clumps. I know I have the larger army. Probably too small of clumps, or just getting like massacred by his Zerglings, but at the same time I don't want to send in a huge force because I don't want to get blown up by Banes. But I'm doing small amounts of damage. I'm slowly whittling away at this force. And having to pull back again. Now you'll probably have to use some Banelings. But still not killing a whole lot of Zerglings with Banes. Those 2 Banes killed maybe, what, 6 Zerglings? That's not really worth it. Sending in more and more. There we go. Now he's pulling in the Banes, so I quickly pull most of my Zerglings away. Let some of them eat the Banelings, and then I have some leftovers. So even though Zerglings, Speedlings versus Banelings should never win that battle, as long as you have like okay micro, you can still do damage. Just don't let one Baneling blow up like 15 Zerglings, and you'll be good. So there we have it. That is the end of this match, and we'll jump into another match. I guess I'll focus the next match on, well, there we go. Now you can quit. We'll focus the next match on my build order. Alright, so here we are on some map I've forgotten the name of, but I am the red Zerg spawning in the top right, along with my partner, the blue Protoss Evil Killer, and our opponents today are Marman. Why not Merman? Merman was awesome. Hey, what about have He-Man figures in there, kid? And Sephrim. Those are some odd names. And they're spawning in the bottom left-hand corner. My partner's obviously setting up his cannons here, and again, build it behind, like back here, so their natural scout path won't actually pass by this pylon. So for my build, this is going to be my mass speedling build. Now, I know in my previous video I said you just go 15 hatch, 15 pool, 15 gas. I mean, this is a build I learned from someone else, but I realized there's no real advantage to doing it that way, except to get a little more larva early on. You can actually go pool first, which is what I'm going to do. So it's not going to be a fast pool. Obviously, I'm going for the economic opener, building as many drones as possible. You can see I'm at 13 of 16. I'm just going to keep mass producing drones until I can actually afford a pool without cutting my drone production. So I end up building my pool in like 15 or 16, but it's still earlier than going hatch first. So then I go pool, then I go gas, then I go hatchery, and you want to get to 16 of 18 as soon as possible. So you'll actually need 19 drones, because you're going to lose 3 of them to creating structures. So it looks like my partner was spotted because of this low ground stuff, and they pulled a ton of stuff, and everything is going down. Got the drone. Forge is dying as well. So that was really rough, although at least they pulled a lot of stuff to kill it. Looks like 4 drones and 5 SCVs and 1 destructible rock. Still saying my first overload there. I guess I should pull it back. It's kind of Evil Killer's job. I always give him control. Yeah, I forgot to. So there we go. Pool is done. Now the one difference with this build is normally, since the 2 hatches, the second hatch would finish around the same time as the pool, you build both queens at once. Instead, what you want to do is build the queens from both queens from this hatchery. Although it looks like I'm forgetting to do it. Yeah, I'm totally screwing up my supply. I didn't save my 16 of 18. You stop at 16 of 18 because you only need 16 drones, and also because at 16 of 18 you need that last 2 supply for your queen. So I'm completely screwing up this build. Not the best example to look at me. Yeah, you get 16 of 18, then you build an overlord, then you build a queen, which will put you to 18 of 18. And then you want to build your second queen from the same hatchery, because that way you almost get the second queen out in time for this hatchery. So it looks like Evil Killer setting up yet another cannon rush, even though we got screwed over. I mean, notice I didn't die. Evil Killer's canceling in time. And setting up my first couple Zerglings are here. like he's going after the cannon, or going after the pylon, which he's probably not going to get. So he does have a wall off. Don't even need an Overlord to spot this wall off, though. We're gonna, since it's low ground, we're going in pretty good shape here. Marines inside a bunker, even though they get the +1 range, are still outranged by 1 from a photon cannon. Marauders inside a bunker, however, are the same range as a photon cannon. Just having to keep in mind if you really have to keep a bunker from being pushed on from a cannon, you can put a Marauder inside. Overlord getting high ground sight here. It's going to be able to see this bunker, and it's not going to do well. Bunch of Zerglings coming out. Looks like I'm going to engage with lesser amounts. Hopefully I can do some damage, but not looking good. And he's going to go for a counterattack. However, I do have reinforcements flooding in. I'm going to get a nice little surround here, completely trap him in. Good night, Zerglings. So no counterattack and no wall either. There goes the wall. So he's going to attempt to wall off the top of his ramp here. I could actually flood in. I didn't know that. I was kind of waiting to get my Ling count up, but not so hot. Zerg is extending his creep. Looks like he's only on 1 hatchery with 1 queen, where I'm on 2 hatcheries with 2 queens, so I'm obviously going to be able to outproduce them. And you do want to keep the pressure on, because you ever allow them to like easily tech, then you're going to be in trouble, because obviously we don't have a whole lot going on in our home bases in terms of defense to like things like Void Rays or siege tanks, stuff like that. So I see those Terrans walled off, so I'm like, well, let's just text out the Zerg. If he is opening something like Roach, then it's good to attack him while the Roach numbers are low. Speedlings do well against Roach when everything's in smaller numbers. But once things are in bigger numbers, Roach just dominates the Speedlings. But as it turned out, he didn't have a whole lot at all here, and he's dead. That is 1 dead Zerg. Cannons being built in range now. This wall off is not going to last very long. It's already down to 2-on-1 here. And I think you can see the inevitable end here. Overlord does have the high ground sight once again. Sending some Zerglings to speed up the process because I'm an impatient guy. And time to flood in with everything now. Looks like he was going for siege tank, but oh, he's going to be way too late. You were saying? Yeah, I think they called us nubs earlier when they thwarted the first cannon attack. Never insult your opponents about how bad they are until you actually win the game. Because you never know when you're going to screw up anyways. So it looks like he's floating his buildings around, and to actually catch these buildings, I'm going to engage my map hack. I know it's bad to have map hack, but I'm like, in situations like this, you kind of gotta use it. And by map hack, I mean Speedling map hack. Check out the mini map here. It is time to get sight of the map. This is how you get sight of the map. That's a get the sight of the map sound effect. It's kind of like not quite a laser, not quite a fan, but. So we're just sort of attacking towards air here, just finished off. This guy's just being a prick, but I think he eventually leaves the game. Why I'm showing you all this, I don't know. Oh, there he goes. Alright. Maybe one more game? We'll do one more game. Alright, so here we are in Scorched Basin once again. We seem to get Scorched Basin a lot, actually. Like every other game, I would say. Anyways, I'm the teal Zerg spawning in the right-hand position with my partner Evil Killa, the purple Protoss, and our opponents are King Jason, the red Zerg, Nito, the blue Zerg, And this is going to be a little more difficult as it's double Zerg. Mainly because, you know, I always get to the point where I have mass speedlings, and I get to pick on one guy because the other guy can't get there because all the cannons in the middle. And the one guy I get to pick on has a destroyed wall. And mass speedlings from an economic build versus a Protoss or a Terran who isn't walled off is an absolute slaughter. But having to rush a Zerg can do well. Like, even if he's just like, you know, Spine Crawler, Queen, Zergling, Drone, I mean, that can be enough to hold off just speedlings. Or if you get something like Roach or Baneling, they hold their own. Obviously, Banelings do well versus speedlings, and Roaches do about even in smaller numbers versus speedlings, and then in larger numbers they completely massacre speedlings. So for that reason, even getting this wall off doesn't really guarantee the victory. Another problem is we have to build the pylon and forge it home for this just because we need to know if it's going to be double sixthling rush. We don't want to be out here dying. So it's an extra pylon that we have to spend money on that we wouldn't have had to otherwise, but I think it is important to send out a quick early scout versus double Zerg just in case it's some sort of double Ling rush. However, it's not. They're both going for more of an economic build. I think I ended up going 10 pool just in case because we hadn't scouted yet. But now that I have the pool down, we're going more towards the typical... I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Going more towards my typical get the 16 drones as soon as possible sort of build. So both of our builds are a little bit behind, and it's going to be hard to finish. Sometimes it's okay. I mean, I will always have a larger army than these Zerg players, so yeah, a little bit late to pull those drones. It's actually going to lose one or two of them. Stand right there and block them. She only lost the one drone. One Ling made it out to scout, not a big deal. So yeah, sometimes when we face double Zerg, it's still easy. Still, my speedlings just run in and it'll completely overwhelm them. Other times, it's tougher. I mean, and then of course other times they double sixling, and then we're in a lot of trouble. That's maybe we win about 40% of those. We're still getting the hang of how to deal with that exactly. But getting my second hatch down, I'm going to start on my second queen. And pretty soon we'll be back to pumping mass speedling, and I'll be spending up all this money. Oh, boo. 8 hit points. How much do you do per attack? 4. Well, 2 attacks at 4? 8 hit points. Damn, would have been enough. This isn't a solid seal. There's a little entrance here, so... Works decently. Looks like we got high ground sight here, and just pulling in my second overlord now to get high ground sight over here, so we'll be able to... The cannons have definitely safely gotten up, and they are both sealed, so it's going to be up to the speedlings to try to end the game versus them. So it looks like the roaches are trying to bust out. I think most of these cannons, all these cannons are still powered actually, so this is not an important pylon. I decided to fight with my cannons with these Zerglings, but now that he's pulled back, I'm pulling back. Obviously 2 Zerglings can't do anything to that. And I don't like to fight with my Zerglings until I have speed either. So both queens are out. Time to start spending all this larva and spending all this money. This was kind of a rough game, so I could see my build having issues this game as well. Yeah, I'm floating a little bit higher in mineral count than I normally would, and it looks like I mined 56 extra gas. I didn't mean to. You only want to mine 100. I guess I was over here microing that, and I forgot to pull guys off gas and didn't actually inject. So we know this opponent has Roach, so I'm actually going to target this guy. Not because I'm afraid of Roach, but I'm afraid if the other guy's teching, I want to kill him before he finishes his tech. I don't want like a bunch of mutas to come out and just own us. So I know the Roach guy, just by the number of Roaches and the fact they throw in a Roach Horn, he won't be having any fast tech going on. He's just doing his layer now. So we're going to test this guy out. Running right in. That was probably unnecessary. I didn't have to pull those Speedlings away. I could have just kept them in the battle, and I might have actually won this fight. So having to retreat as he had more speedlings, and now he's got banelings on the field. That kind of cost me. If I microed that battle better, I might have been able to kill him before he got banelings. So it looks like I'm going to remass and head back in again, because I didn't really see anything besides Zerglings. I'm still worried that he could be teching up. So with this flood of Zerglings, I think I'll move in probably. Got my mineral count down, which is nice. So here we go, but that's a lot of banelings. I'm not too happy about this. So fighting banelings, run away, run away! Ow, ow, ouchie. Finishing off that spine crawler before I go. It's doing a little extra damage. Now I'm worried. So I'm like, well, I can't really kill this guy anymore. And this guy has been sitting here untouched, so I probably can't kill him either. So, uh-oh. The whole point of this build is to finish one of them off, and it's not working at the moment. So I'm going to spend my speedlings here. Even though I've lost a ton of speedlings attacking the other guy, I'm like, well, I may as well switch up targets, see if I can do something. So I see the number of roaches, I'm like, no, I can't do anything against that. And did you hear that sound? Yep, that is a Nidus worm. Looks like he's a little hesitant to actually go into the Nidus worm. But I'm sending my entire force back anyways. We still have no idea where it is, and I'm like, oh shoot, it's in your base, are you dying? Just sitting here in the middle until we get a rough idea of where it's at. Like for all I knew, he just did it right here just to make access to bypass this cannon field. But now it looks like he has loaded up the Nidus and he's unloading over here, and we have spotted it. So I'm sending all my speedlings back. Looks like my partner's taking the high yield. And he's heading in. I'm not sure about this decision. I decided to take out the Nidus to cut off any reinforcements. Kind of leaving my partner stranded. My partner is being smart and not engaging this. He's waiting for me. Even though he's losing a lot of stuff, he doesn't want to actually engage the roaches. And now I'm going to get a nice little surround here. And in combination with the stalkers, this should be cleaned up quite handily. And I think that might get us back in the game. I was a little bit worried up until this point, but after that slaughter, yeah, not so worried anymore. And sending a good portion back to the front line, because whenever we have both of our armies there, that might be a good time for them to break out. So I'm a little bit worried that they'll try for the break. And no luck. Ooh, look how weak those two spine crawlers are. Boy, do I want to kill those. Oh, there goes one of them. There we go. So he still has those banelings I'm worried about, but I do have an army now with, or my partner does have an army now. He has a lot of stalkers. I'm like, great. Your stalkers focus the banelings. I hide my links from the banelings. We win the game. So that's the sort of strategy and teamwork you need when you're facing banelings. Obviously, the banelings will still massacre my Zerglings in this battle, so I have to be very careful. So notice he isn't getting enveloped by the banelings and the speedlings. I'm not attacking. I know this is bad, but engaging a little bit here. One baneling left. Pulling away, waiting for that baneling to pop. Pop the baneling, pop the baneling. Pop it. There it goes. And I lost very few of my speedlings during that battle. Good number of the stalkers are down, but without any banelings, it's going to be a field day for my speedlings. Moving my stuff in deep. I'm trying to find the eggs to kill them. I'm not here in time. This is going to hurt. Decided to run away, which is probably a good idea. Leave a couple behind just to pop the banelings, which is what I wanted. And now falling back to the stalker support. Again, not following the banelings, keeping away from them. There we go. The Banelings popped on the Stalkers, which they do shit damage to the Stalkers, which is awesome. And with that, that looks like GG to me. Oh, look at this. His partner's building a Nidus Canal inside his base to try to save his partner. A little bit late, though. But neat idea. That's one way to bypass this. And yeah, what could he do? I mean, he had only rebuilt a handful of roaches, and he was sealed in. Was he teching? He must have been teching. No, he just didn't have many roaches. Oh, he's going Hydra. I don't know. One base zerg can't make a whole lot of units. That's all I know. And at this point, I hadn't expanded, but my partner had, and he had the high yield going pretty well, so we were in really good shape. So yeah, Zerg is definitely more difficult, but you can so often just like massacre one of them with Speedling. This match didn't work out quite that well. Luckily, we completely destroyed the Nidus attack, so that helped put us in a good spot. And if nothing else, this contain is annoying. I mean, it's something they have to either blow through or something they have to work around, so it gives us a lot of map control, we'll put it that way. And with that, I'm kind of feeling tired, and I feel like my commentary might have been a little tiring as well. I hope you guys actually enjoyed this and it wasn't that boring, but that is my new strategy. Cannon Contain in combination with Overlords will blow away the high ground wall-offs, and then the Zerg just does an economic Speedling build, and once they hit that mass of Speedlings, they can completely go in and overrun the one opponents, especially if they don't have a wall-off. So yeah, that's winning about 70% with that, and gotten us to #1 in Masters. We'll see how it goes from here on out, and whether we can tweak it at all to make it even a little bit better, which would be cool. And with that, we'll call it the end of this replay, and we'll hop into the thumbs up fact of the day. Alright, for today's thumbs up fact of the day, I'm going to talk about attacking SCVs that are building structures like this. Notice that you saw right there, he moved, and then he was having trouble attacking. Now he moved again, having trouble attacking. This may happen often with harass, when harassing an SCV building a structure. If he keeps moving, it's going to be problems. So what you can do is hold down Shift and A and spam click him. So you load up a lot of attack commands on this, and when he gets stuck and stops, he'll load up the next attack command, and when he gets stuck and stops, he'll load up the next attack command. So you'll never actually stop trying to harass. So one more time, when you're harassing a SCV that's building a structure like this, start from scratch, often your SCV will get stuck and give up, so to keep him from giving up, you just load up a lot of commands. That way when he gives up, he'll say, okay, I give up, what's my next thing to do? And his next thing to do is to attack that SCV, so he'll keep trying and trying and trying. Well, that's a really bad example because he's not actually moving, but we can get the general drift here. Loading up all those attack commands, and you will never give up harassing SCV. And that's how to piss off Ketroc, because I hate when people try to go after me SCVs. Actually, I don't mind anymore. I'm pretty good at pulling SCVs off and dealing with that sort of harass, but this is one way to make the harass of a Terran even more efficient. And with that, we'll call out the end of this thumbs up fact. Thank you everyone, and goodbye.